And they don't think he ran home to his pineapple under the sea, but one local restaurant wants to know, where'd Spongebob go? A 14-foot tall version of the popular cartoon character SpongeBob
Somebody just stole that shit. We got a video by Pat Mack. I don't think I've watched a video by him before. It says 4.3 million views, 4 years old. A look at nostalgic SpongeBob foods and candies. Let's see how many I remember.
The SpongeBob SquarePants franchise is one of the most iconic, recognizable, and marketable brands in history.
Yeah, right.
If you can think of it, there's likely a SpongeBob version of it out there.
W-store.
Toys, bedding, underwear, radios, stationery, toothpaste. SpongeBob is one of the most lovable characters in existence, and Nickelodeon knows this very well. The incredible world of SpongeBob goods even—
That macaroni and cheese, the Krabby Patties, them fruit snacks, bro, cheese nips. I've been talking to okay.
extends to food products, with there being a huge variety of edible items marked with the franchise's likeness. Some of these have been around for a long time at this point, and have become recognizable even on their own. The SpongeBob Popsicle, for example, is one of my all-time favorite treats, and gummy Krabby Patties are up there too. SpongeBob foods can be found globally as well. They're so common that it's likely most people watching this video have tried or at least seen several of these. It's quite fitting for there to be such a vast legacy of food and food tie-ins for a character who makes delicious food himself.
What a brand.
I think it's time we paid tribute to some of these delectable SpongeBob foods from over the years. And with all of that said, let's begin.
Well, that's a good one too. Show me.
So picture this. It's summer break and your family took you on a day trip to the beach. You're already having a pretty good time, but your heart soars the second you hear that familiar tune. Could it be? You look all around and see it. An ice cream truck. You instantly know what you have to do. You beg your parents to buy you your favorite treat, a SpongeBob SquarePants Popsicle.
Yep.
What is certainly the most famous character ice cream treat, the SpongeBob Popsicle has been a popular addition to ice cream truck lineups for many years. Made by the original Popsicle company, the SpongeBob bar is a delicious blend of fruit punch and cotton candy ice, topped with bubblegum eyeballs. This Sponge Bar is just one of many like it based off of popular characters. Though while a lot of them fade alongside the character's relevancy, this is one of the few that have stood the test of time. Sorry Chucky Finster, but SpongeBob's got you beat. The bar was first introduced as early as 2002. What you're looking at is one of the earliest adverts given to ice cream vendors to promote the bar.
They got the same birth year as me.
Here's what the original wrapper of the ice cream looked like. I just love the original look of SpongeBob products. The use of greens complements the yellows and blues very well. The original series style guides are a treasure trove of great product design. This wrapper didn't show the bar at all, instead focusing on stock art of SpongeBob while proudly displaying the classic series logo. Around the early 2010s, that wrapper was replaced with this current one, featuring a much smaller piece of SpongeBob art as the focus is instead on the bar itself. Definitely a good wrapper design, but man, what I'd give to see that original one just one more time. I also find it pretty funny they decided to show the stock image of the bar on the updated wrapper, as one of the reasons this bar is so popular is because they almost never come out looking like they should. It's almost like a game, to see how messed up your Sponge Bar can be. I once got one that had 2 sets of eyes, but also got one from the same batch that looked perfect.
I remember I got one with 3 eyeballs once. I was so happy.
I guess it's a gamble. Despite its lack of quality control, on a conceptual level, the ice cream is geniusly designed, showing lots of detail in a simplistic way. Sure, SpongeBob's pants are red here, which is inaccurate, but that's because of the flavor used, and because of this, they got to show his tie. One of my favorite details is that he even has dimples, as his eyes come to a point around the edges of his mouth. They don't always come out looking the best, but the designers clearly put in a lot of time to make it look as much like SpongeBob as possible. The bar's character also extends to its wrapper, as on the back, it has this little jellyfish graphic containing fun facts about the show, dubbed Silly SpongeBob Stuff. This whole product just oozes fun and tastes great too. I know these gumball bars aren't for everyone, but I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if I've had over 1,000 of these in my lifetime.
That's a lot.
Back in the day, my grandma used to come home with them all the time. After that, for a few years, it was pretty hard for me to find them, but a few years ago, a convenience store near me started stocking it, and now I see them everywhere. So now I can stock up on Sponge Bars whenever I please, which, let's be honest, is basically every day. This is and forever will be my favorite ice cream treat and my favorite SpongeBob food item in general, and it seems I'm not alone. The bar has reached popularity levels so high, in fact, merchandise based off of it has been released. In 2019, the company Alpha Group Toys launched a new line of novelty SpongeBob figurines, and they went full in with the license. While some of their offerings look fairly standard, many of these highly detailed figurines are based off of popular memes or specific moments from the show, titled their Sponge Pop Culture Pants line of figures. Alpha Toys look to win the respect of SpongeBob fans everywhere with figures of Dabbing Squidward, SpongeGar, Surprised Patrick, and more.
A collection
if nothing else, seeing that the show's memes are now a part of its own marketing is pretty interesting.
I gotta build a collection badly. I do have a starter piece. Shout out to Shelby. I got a starter piece.
Toys release I was most excited about, however, were these. A set of 4 vinyl Spongesicle figures, obviously based off of the SpongeBob Popsicle. There are 4 different styles to collect, all playing off of the bar's varying quality control, being based off of actual messed up ones people have found over the years. Along with that being a great concept on its own, these non-edible figurines are pineapple scented, and make for a great novelty gift for fans of the treat. Honestly, I wish more of these bars got
factual. That'd be such a quick cop.
This figure treatment. I'm sure it would be a complicated process.
Which ones do I remember? I guess most of them. The Shrek one, the Shrek, the Spider-Man, and SpongeBob the most. When I was young, I got Dora.
As you'd have to get the okay from not just the ice cream designers, but the actual license holders too, but a full series of figures based off of these licensed bars would be a smash hit. Plus, it would be a great way to immortalize these nostalgic designs in a way that doesn't involve keeping extremely out-of-date ice cream in your freezer. Many of these were a huge part of people's childhoods, and it's always sad when one gets discontinued.
Bugs Bunny
Speaking of that, you know what? Many people question why SpongeBob is still on the air, and how the brand remains so integral to pop culture even today. This popsicle alone makes me hope he never fades from relevancy. If SpongeBob was ever cancelled, that would mean this would go into production and it would be gone forever. Could we really live with that? As messed up as the world can get, as long as there's the SpongeBob bar, we'll be okay. This actually isn't the only SpongeBob ice cream product out there. Back in 2002, the company Breyers featured SpongeBob on certain releases. And if you thought the popsicle SpongeBob looked weird, check this one out. This caramel and chocolate bar comes from Peter's Ice Cream, an Australian company. This one does sound very tasty, but the solid blue eyes and discolored figure is likely off-putting to many. In my eyes, nothing can beat the classic Sponge Bar, but it's not the only creative piece of SpongeBob food out there. Let's move on and take a look at one that I would say actually rivals its popularity.
What's up? The cheese nips? No. Mac and cheese for sure.
It's a universal feeling. We all wish we could try a Krabby Patty. Surprisingly, they've never made an official genuine burger based off of it. But how could you have such a recognizable piece of food in your show and not make a licensed product based off of it? That's where these come in. Gummy Krabby Patties. Yeah, move over, Twin Snakes. These are the real deal. As a gummy candy, this is in no way a sandwich. But man, if the real thing is even half as good as these are, I totally get the hype.
See, it's not even like they're that good, bro. It's a Krabby Patty, bro. And they are fire.
These bite-sized candies are made by the company Frankfurt, a well-respected candy company who produces many licensed items, with these being one of their most popular offerings. Gummy Krabby Patties have been around for a long time, likely as long as the ice cream has. They're simple in design, not being too far off from those generic gummy hot dogs and hamburgers you can find in places like convenience stores.
Those are so good.
The candy has 4 layers: a squishy top bun, a more solid but still chewy piece of lettuce, a pink patty, and a bottom bun. Together, they make one of the best candies I've ever tasted. You can either eat it in one bite, or enjoy each layer separately, savoring the Krabby goodness. Here's a look at one of the earliest packaging styles. Each patty comes individually wrapped in a plastic tray, with the wrapping having fun SpongeBob art and designs. The candy was an instant hit, and it was so popular it's been made in various styles and variants over the years. There's of course the standard release, but the first variant was this giant gummy Krabby Patty, a larger sandwich you bought individually out of these store trays. Take a look at this style of packaging. It has the Nick Candy style branding, which you never see anymore, along with seldom seen but fitting art of SpongeBob. The Nick Candy brand was used on all Nickelodeon-themed candies.
Bro, that slime dunk looks so cool.
For some time, but has since been phased out. Over the years, they've gotten a little crazy with these variants, but I'm all for it. For example, here's a 1-pounder gummy Krabby Patty. Could I interest you in this gummy Krabby Patty lollipop? A lot of these variants are made for holidays such as Christmas or Easter. Similar to other candies like Reese's, they've made Christmas tree-shaped patties, Easter egg-shaped ones, candy corn ones, and even heart-shaped patties. These ones can often be found bundled with Valentine's Day cards, making for a great treat to share with your class, your significant other, or to eat all by yourself. More traditional variants include sour patties, as well as colored ones, likely based off of patty hype. My heart will always belong to the Sponge Bar, but I think we can all agree that these are pretty dang good. Why pay hundreds for a 5-star dinner meal at a fancy restaurant when you could get a pack of these for a few bucks at your local grocery store? No other sandwich beats it. The Big Mac? Please. Five Guys burgers and fries? All 5 of them can sit down because they're not better than this. Now, not only is the snack pretty good, it's also left a huge cultural impact. For example, it inspired the acclaimed YouTube video throwing a giant gummy Krabby Patty to the fire, one of the all-time best videos on the site. With all the variants and styles that have existed over the years, this is for sure up there with the Popsicle as one of the all-time SpongeBob food kings, and it rightfully deserves to be. Just such a simple but great idea for a candy, and thankfully, it's one that even if the SpongeBob license ever expired, Frankfurt could probably keep making them, just as generic gummy hamburgers. They're not the easiest to find, as not a ton of stores carry them, especially not the huge bags, but they're up there with my favorite candies of all time.
They're in
Sour Patch Kids,
stores.
Mini M&Ms, and Gummy Krabby Patties. The 3 amigos of really good candy.
Sure.
Hey, tell me something. There's a delicious Subway food montage going on right behind me, isn't there? Yep, I can smell it. Well, that's gonna make it kind of hard to focus, but here we go.
You know, sometimes a Big Mac isn't enough to make you want to go to McDonald's. Sometimes you need an extra kick. Yeah, something like that. With the inception of the McDonald's Happy Meal, fast food and toys have become forever linked. Did you know that McDonald's is actually the largest toy distributor in the world? They are thanks to how popular their Happy Meal toys are. With success, the idea quickly caught on, and now tons of fast food places have their own toy promotions. It really is genius marketing. Fans of the licenses will beg their parents to go to the restaurant because they want the toy.
Damn right, growing up.
But then when they also enjoy the food, they'll become repeat customers. The first time I ever stepped foot into a Subway was to get a Phineas and Ferb toy back when they had a promotion in 2008. Cartoon fast food tie-ins are in no way unique, but SpongeBob is a series that has seen more than almost any other. It feels like there's always a promotion going on somewhere at all times, even today. While he's made appearances at many restaurants, when it comes to SpongeBob fast food toys, Burger King reigns supreme. In the United States, Burger King was the main fast food license holder for the show from 2001 to 2011. I'm sure these commercials and toys bring back a ton of memories. In June of 2001, they released their first set of toys which were included in every Big Kids meal. There were 7 toys to collect, all having unique play features that allowed you to use them both on land and the water, making for some innovative and on-brand toys. As per usual, the promotion lasted 4 weeks, and it proved to be very popular. In March of 2003, SpongeBob returned to the Big Kids meal with another set of 8 collectible toys. These were essentially a second wave of the toys, keeping what made the first set so popular, continuing to strengthen the bond between SpongeBob and Burger King. In 2004, when the SpongeBob movie was coming out, BK really kicked it into high gear, releasing 12 toys based off the film. The promotion launched on November 3rd, 2004, and would last until January 3rd, 2005. Along with the 12 toys, a fully animated commercial was produced too, along with tons of promotional material. In addition to the toys and the commercials, one of the most memorable forms of advertising Burger King did for the SpongeBob movie came in the form of these. Approximately 14 feet tall SpongeBob inflatables that were hung on top of the restaurants. Hundreds of these were produced for the many Burger King locations nationwide, and promoted both the movie and the restaurants themselves. This actually used to be a pretty common form of Burger King marketing. A similar promotion was held with these inflatable Darth Vaders, which rode atop BK locations a year later.
We don't do cool shit like this as a society anymore, bro. We just don't.
2005, to promote the release of Revenge of the Sith. These were real eye catchers. There was also this rather creepy looking one for Shrek 2, one for Spider-Man 2, but none are as infamous as the SpongeBob. Why is that? Well, for one reason or another, these Burger King inflatable SpongeBobs became the victims of countless cases of sponge napping.
And they don't think he ran home to his pineapple under the sea, but one local restaurant wants to know, where'd Spongebob go? A 14-foot tall version of the popular cartoon character SpongeBob SquarePants sat atop the Burger King on 21st Street in Lewiston for the last month. That is until the early morning hours yesterday. Lewiston police say sometime before opening Tuesday morning, thieves apparently made off with the inflatable structure. LPD says the only evidence they have so far are footprints on the roof where ropes that held SpongeBob down were cut.
Shortly after the promotion began, BK locations in over 10 states across America began reporting that their SpongeBob inflatables were stolen. The employees went to work and he was just gone. It seemed that during the night, there were groups of
wouldn't steal this shit. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, that's so cool.
Savage thieves who went to the restaurant not to vandalize it or anything, but to steal SpongeBob. This was a serious problem and was such a common crime, several news channels reported on it. While it was mostly treated as a joke, the balloon was valued at around $600 to $1,000, given their size, their limited production, and them being tied to a valuable brand. In fact, several of them ended up being sold online on sites like eBay for a lot of money, though I'm sure the sellers were highly questioned. One location in Minnesota received a ransom note related to the inflatable. Perhaps the thieves were looking for the Krabby Patty secret formula? It got so bad that in December of 2004, Burger King issued a statement that if any of the stolen inflatables were returned, the hero would receive a year's worth of weekly Whoppers.
Would y'all do that? Each week you get a free Whopper of the year? Maybe.
Well, a fine deal. Who would take up that offer? Give me the inflatable SpongeBob.
Yeah.
This ain't no Alibaba sponge blow-up. This is the real thing. Stories about this inflatable Bob continued into the new year. February 13th, 2005. Giant SpongeBob rescued from house fire. This case occurred in Virginia. A house fire was set off in a vacant home, and while no one was there, firefighters did discover one of these stolen SpongeBobs, thankfully unharmed. While it's likely many of these were stolen due to their potentially high resale value, some were given back, and no serious charges were pressed on anyone from what I can see. Who would steal a balloon? It's not even Free Balloon Day.
It's SpongeBob, a thug, bro.
So far, we've covered some of the hard-hitting iconic SpongeBob food products. But when I said there was a SpongeBob version of everything,
Bro, I forgot about those cookies.
The hard-hitting iconic SpongeBob food products. But when I said there was...
Bro, those cookies used to be like so, like fucking hard, pause. But they were so good, bro. What happened to these? I remember these. You'd like tear the little plastic. Oh my god.
The SpongeBob version of everything? I meant everything. It seems it's always in any food company's top interest to put SpongeBob iconography on their packaging. For example, Kraft. SpongeBob and them go way back. Kraft mac and cheese is a staple of American dinners, and as it tends to be a popular choice for kids, the company has released many licensed versions of the meal. We've got ones for Phineas and Ferb, The Fairly Odd Parents, Madagascar 3, Star Wars, and many more. But there's just something about Sponge mac and cheese that's different. This one has been around for a while, and is likely one of the most nostalgic SpongeBob items for fans. Now this one's a classic, the SpongeBob-themed Wonder Ball. The Wonder Ball is a chocolate candy ball originally made by the company Nestle, and it was launched in the mid-90s. The gimmick of the candy is that inside the chocolate ball, there are bonuses, such as hard candies and stickers. In 1997, the candy was pulled in fear of those bonuses being a choking hazard, but it was brought back in April of 2000. In April of 2004, Nestle sold the candy brand to the company Frankfurt, the same company that had already been doing lots of Nick-based candies. As such, they produced the SpongeBob Wonder Ball. For some reason, this one has always stuck with me. I don't have the best memory when it comes to stuff from my childhood, but one of the few times I remember being in a Toys R Us when I was younger was when I got one of these, probably around 2006. I even still have some of the stickers that came inside of it scattered around my house.
Lucky bitch.
The candy was eventually discontinued yet again, but in February of 2016, Frankfurt brought it back with more new licenses. As the company obviously still has the SpongeBob license today, maybe they'll eventually bring back this one. What else is there? How about fruit snacks? Tacos? Pasta? Kid cuisine meals? Cereal? Oh my gosh, the SpongeBob cereal! Not the General Mills one, though that one is still pretty good. I'm talking the original. The Kellogg's SpongeBob cereal from 2004, complete with SpongeBob, Patrick, and pineapple marshmallows. When the movie came out, they re-released the cereal with a brand new plankton marshmallow added to the mix. After the movie, the cereal would continue to be made for a little bit, until tragically being discontinued. To promote the third movie...
My struggle was, I was around for its prime, pretty much, but I had to, like, I don't know, bro, like, parents tripping about it, like, I gotta, like, it's not even that bad of brain rot, bro. I know you see Skibbity Toilet now.
Sponge on the Run, Kellogg's is actually releasing something very similar to the original cereal. Check it out! Sponge on the Run is getting a huge marketing push with food, as did Sponge Out of Water and of course the original movie. There are just so many unforgettable SpongeBob meals. Who could forget the SpongeBob Pop-Tarts? The Eggo Waffle?
Bro, I forgot about those Pop-Tarts with the little sprinkles on it.
So many unforgettable SpongeBob meals. Who could forget the SpongeBob...
The little sprinkles, bro. Tell me that's not heat.
Pop-Tarts, the Eggo Waffles, Awesome Candies, one of my favorite candy makers, made a SpongeBob-themed 3Ds Gummies pack as well. I never knew these even existed, as I was too busy getting the Mario ones. You know, a good majority of SpongeBob foods are, well, not the healthiest thing out there. Contrary to popular belief, you probably shouldn't eat an entire pack of gummy Krabby Patties in one sitting. In an attempt to make SpongeBob and Nickelodeon appear more health conscious, some healthy foods donning the brand exist as well, such as carrots, apple slices, spinach, and more. But who cares about that? Check out this SpongeBob lollipop. The cheese nips, dude. The cheese nips.
Top tier. Top tier. I miss cheese nips, bro.
Not even Chef Boyardee can help putting SpongeBob all over his food. And for the most part, I'm just covering food released in North America. The show has been dubbed into countless languages and airs in even more countries. There are so many international goods, it would be impossible to cover even a fraction of them. At this point, you gotta wonder what product hasn't been made with SpongeBob yet.
Good question.
Well, here's something that hasn't been done yet. This series is so iconic, and everyone knows what the Krusty Krab is and that Krabby Patties taste amazing. How hasn't there been a real-life Krusty Krab location? There isn't a real-life Krusty Krab, is there? Officially, no. Well, kinda. To celebrate the show's 20th anniversary at San Diego Comic-Con in 2019, Nickelodeon constructed replicas of some of the show's most iconic locations that you can actually walk through. There was the Chum Bucket, Mrs. Puff's boating school, and yes, the Krusty Krab. Unfortunately though, this wasn't a real restaurant. It was just a small part of the Nickelodeon animation booth at the event. It had lots of merchandise on display, it was full of fun references to the show, it even had some really well done props and statues. There was even an activity where you could challenge yourself to make a non-edible Krabby Patty as fast as SpongeBob does. Yeah, no real food, but it sure had the look. Still though, it wasn't a Krusty Krab restaurant. Unfortunately, a Viacom-sanctioned one has never existed. But over in Palestine, there's an unofficial one, or at least there was. Over in the Middle East, there's a Palestinian enterprising company named Salta Burgers, and on August 11th, 2014, they opened up a little restaurant in West Bank, Palestine, called the Krusty Krab. And yeah, it looks the part. It's got the proper decor. The cashiers take orders in the same boat that Squidward does. The tables look good. It's pretty spot on, which is surprising because yeah, this restaurant and the company Salta Burgers have absolutely no affiliation with Nickelodeon, Viacom, or anything to do officially with SpongeBob. The owners thought, hey, you know what would be a great idea? And they did it. Now, concrete info on the current state of the company is unclear, but from at least 2014 to 2016, families could enjoy dining at a restaurant just like the one in the show.
We need one.
The company also commissioned these, wonderful character statues that were placed around the building. I quite enjoyed this Patrick one. There was a lovely Mr. Krabs outside the restaurant too. They're a little unnerving, but hey, it's not the Krusty Krab if SpongeBob isn't there. You know what all of this reminds me of? These statues especially. Have you ever heard of Storybook Glen? This is a park in Scotland, now known as the Den in the Glen. It's a place famous for its bizarre, bootleg statues, based off of famous fairy tale and pop culture characters. It's where Mr. Cha-Cha Real Smooth comes from. Copyright law doesn't scare these people, and it certainly doesn't scare Salta Burgers. With that said though, it's not likely they're still in operation. Little has been posted about it officially since 2015, just a year after it opened. However, there are some photos of it in 2016, still donning the SpongeBob theme. There have been some recent Google reviews of it, but it's entirely possible that Salta Burgers has converted it into a nondescript restaurant, one that isn't so obviously bootleg. Those reviews, though, are a great source of photos of the establishment. Just take a look at some of these.
Too.
I'm sure those who went here will never forget the experience of eating a 3.5-star burger while being surrounded by SpongeBob decor. Here are some extremely good images from before the restaurant opened.
Low-key, I wouldn't care how bad the job is, I would show up every day.
Showing a bleak, dilapidated building from before it opened its doors to the public. Thank goodness these photos exist. If this place is gone now, we don't want to lose proof that all of this happened. I wonder if those statues still exist. Ah man, being honest, would you dine at a place like this, knowing it's a completely unauthorized endeavor? It's a great concept, but I don't know. I guess it would be worth a visit if nothing else. You really gotta see this in person. Also, while it was completely unofficial, the restaurant did have some SpongeBob merchandise for sale too, which I guess is fitting. I say hats off to Salta Burgers. This was a serious undertaking, and even though the results were a little lackluster, to set out to give fans the chance to eat at the actual Krusty Krab is admirable. While an odd story, it's not an entirely unique one. Around the world, there have been many unlicensed Krusty Krabs. Over in Indonesia, this slightly less accurate but still cool one existed. Over in Moscow in 2016, this really nice looking one opened. Look, they've got Krusty Krab pizza. This one looks great. I love all the custom art around the building. There was one in Texas that was sued by Viacom. Nice. There was one in Costa Rica, and that got shut down. This one in Puerto Rico is strange, as it doesn't look anything like the one from the show.
Bro, you're spitting, bro. If they just opened up one in the States, you know how much money they made? One wouldn't be enough, though. They would have to, like, open up a little chain to start off. They'd make so much money, bro. Kelp Shake, Krusty Krab pizza. Krabby Patty. You got the fries. You got so many options, bro.
But later changed its name to make the K in crab the proper C. Moral of the story? You probably shouldn't open a fan-run Krusty Krab restaurant.
Yeah.
It's pretty ironic that companies would rip off a restaurant ran by a character obsessed with money, likely simply in hopes to get more customers through their doors. Though some of them do look like they had a lot of time put into them. And then there's this.
Un lugar distinto para tu paladar. Lo encontrás muy cerca tuyo. Crustáceo cascarudo, sandwichería. Encontrate con lomitos, milanesa, matambre, cangreburger.
That looks like shit.
And there you have it, a look at some of the most interesting SpongeBob food and food tie-ins.
Fire video.
From gummy Krabby Patties, to balloon heists, to bootleg restaurants, SpongeBob has a food portfolio unlike no other. I love everything about SpongeBob and its charming world, and it's great how much of that charm is represented in these. Food is just one of the many real-world products SpongeBob has been made into. Maybe we'll take a look at more in the future. I know, it's often frowned upon just how much SpongeBob is used as a marketing juggernaut. Viacom and Nickelodeon truly squeeze what they can get out of the character. But what they do wouldn't work if the franchise wasn't one of the most likable cartoons in history. Its unique world has led to some unique food, and that's gotta speak for something. It looks like most of these were made with heart, and play off of things that could only be done with the show's
I forgot
universe.
about those Pop-Tarts with the designs on them.
Were made with heart, and play off of
Oh my gosh, bro.
things that could only be done with the show's universe. Some of these were a huge part of the childhoods of those who grew up with them, and they deserve paying tribute to. Everyone loves SpongeBob, and everyone would love some SpongeBob mac and cheese. It's just a fact. Thankfully, many of these are still being made, so if you wanted to grab some gummy Krabby Patties, and I know you do, they're never too hard to find. I believe I can say that no other cartoon has had as many tie-ins and products as this one, and no other recent show has impacted as many lives as SpongeBob has. Looking at all of this stuff really drives that point home. There really isn't anything else like SpongeBob out there, and I'm so glad I got to grow up with these. I'll never forget having that SpongeBob Wonder Ball, and you know I'll always be down for a Sponge Bar.
Something about SpongeBob, bro. Excellent video right there, Pat Mac. Excellent video right there, Pat Mac. Definitely has a ton of iconic products, brands, etc. One of the best, bro. SpongeBob is goated. The amount of products I've had in my childhood, insane.
Get up in my hometown, there's nobody left. Set up the bro with a play, don't fumble it. Damn, he fumbled the ball, I gotta recover it. East Street lacking, other bitch caught up. He spun back, that's not what I taught him. Now I gotta make the play.